Hey, boys and girls, how are you? This is Coach Powell from Coach Powell Training Development. We're coming to you live once again from our home studio right here in beautiful Centerville, Virginia. We're talking today about encouragement. We're talking about how you can take yourself, your business, your friends, your partners, everything you do to the very, very next level so you can grow and develop and share everything you have to share for your business and for your life. It is the last of a series, a three-part series that we've been working on that really are talking about the values and principles that you need to have in order to do wonderful planning for 2021. When you want to figure out how to contribute, how to get there, how to make everything happen for yourself, you need to go back to these principles. You need to go back to these ideas that we've been sharing and thinking about with people so that you have what it takes. So you have what you know, and you'll know that you have what it takes to get there. So today's topic is going to be exciting. We got a lot to cover. There's got lots of fun games, lots of prizes, lots of things we're going to be setting aside for you so that you can take advantage of some offers. And right now, I want to tell you, coming up in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact, we've got an exciting conference. We're going to be doing another rendition of our leadership conference in late March, and it's just going to be super fantastic. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be so much opportunity for so many people. We're going to try to get like thousands of entrepreneurs involved in this thing and try to make sure that we promote it and that we make sure that we do everything we can to just create a fantastic show. I'm saying this right now to you guys because I'm looking forward to having a ton of high quality speakers, extremely valuable gifts and prizes that we're going to be giving away at just dirt cheap prices, and so you can get great discounts on things. In fact, let me give you the date so you can put it in your calendar for those of you who are paying attention. We are doing that conference this year on, wait a minute, I had it in my planning calendar and I lost it. I'll tell you I'll post a link to it. I already got it planned and scheduled. I just don't have it in my calendar. I have it in my digital calendar. So anyway, I'll let you know when that's coming up a little later on. And I'll definitely post something within the show notes so that you can see what we're doing. All right. Because I think this is going to be just one of the most fantastic conferences that we've put together. It's really going to include everything you need to leverage, to create leverage, to understand what leverage is all about, and to create leverage for you to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish in your business. It doesn't matter what that is. And so we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Okay, I see some of my friends out there. It's wonderful to see you, Soren. It's great to see you again, brother Calvin. Calvin Haney's in the house. It's also wonderful to have my friends and family kind of come through and join in and give us their feedback and tidbits. I'm going to be asking for a lot of engagement from you all and a lot of thoughts from you all during today's program, because we're talking about probably one of the most significant ideas that you can embrace, and that is the idea of encouragement. So when you think about encouragement, what do you think about? What do you think about you can do? What do you think about you? What can you become when you have more encouragement? What does it mean to you? Let's just throw some ideas in the chat for some of you, for those of you who are paying attention. What does it mean to you when someone says they're going to encourage you? What does it feel like? What substance comes to mind? What ideas come to mind when you think about encouraging others? What do you think you can give? What do you think you can share? Go ahead and throw some ideas out in the chat. I'm looking forward to hearing from you on that one. And I want to share with you, I've done like a ton of research on this topic because I realized, and there's a couple reasons why, like all of the principles of the round table, right? When you look at the values that we've been able to do, share with our members, the things we've been able to accomplish with our members, it all boils down to how we express and how we use and deal with three key principles. Those principles are communication, we talked about a couple weeks ago, collaboration, which we talked about last week, and encouragement, which we're talking about this week, right? And when you think about how these principles come together, we're able to explore and deliver to our members some amazing benefits. Over 26 different benefits, but there's 6 key benefits that we always deliver to our members because of our expression of these key values and how we take these key values and use them as a part of our coded principles, our ethics, our actions. Everything we put forth, you can translate them right back to those values and those principles. So you don't have to question yourself. If you're a roundtable member, you have to question yourself about why it is that they do what they do, because you understand that everything we do is deeply rooted in our published expectations of how we're going to use our values and principles. And so it really helps to be able to have those at the forefront of everything that you do. When you're planning anything, we found that these three values, that if you have those at the forefront of your planning process, then you can use those as your touchstone. And it's going to create tremendous benefits for you, tremendous benefits for your team, tremendous benefits for everything. So let's talk about encouragement. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, when I did the research for this, I really thought, okay, we talked about communications. I understand how important that is. That makes perfect sense. And we talked about collaboration, because that's something that you actually do with somebody else, and you're actually making something happen. When we got to encouragement, though, I was a little miffed, because I thought my natural inclination was, it's a soft thing. Encouragement. Well, what is it really? Can you touch it? Can you feel it? Can you understand it? Does it really have a lot of substance to it? So then I got into the research, and I discovered just so much amazing content and information that has been delivered from every academic area of life. Everything you could think about, that people have written about this, from the brain of the neuroscientists in psychology today to, what we find out from looking at the ancient texts, right? And then moving that forward to all the great philosophers and wisdom seekers that have thought and created ideas about, and just through examination of what the human character, human spirit is all about. And I find that there are three key things. There are three key ideas, concepts, emotions, whatever you want to call them, that are important to consider when you consider what encouragement is and how you're going to use encouragement. So I call these the three pillars of encouragement, right? The first pillar of encouragement is support, right? Whatever support is to you. The second pillar of encouragement is confidence. And the third pillar of encouragement is always hope. Support, confidence, and hope. These are the three pillars of encouragement. Now, what's beautiful about these three pillars is you don't need them all three to happen simultaneously. When you get all of them simultaneously, the results are amazing, but you don't need all three of them simultaneously to be encouraged. You just need the piece of them you need when you need them. So let's break them down. Let's talk about support. When we think of support, what do we think about, right? We think about resources. We think about financial resources. We think about talent resources. We think about everything that we need, anything we can meet, tangible or intangible, anything we need that we can consider valuable, that can be transferred from one person to another person, can be considered support, right? And so that starts to lend the question, as a leader, what resources do you have? What tools do you have? What skills, talents, abilities, even financial resources do you have that you can share with someone else? They would then receive it as support. Because what support does, quite literally, is it makes it easier for a load to be carried. It makes it easier for a load to be dispersed or shared. It becomes easier for the person who has the responsibility to carry the load when they have support. So how are you getting the support that you need? What do you need support in? What things are happening in your life, in your business, that if you had just a little help, if you had some more resources, or someone else would be willing to put their shoulder to the plow, or lend a helping hand, what might it be like for you if you had that? What might it be like for someone else who could use your support in some way, shape, or form? How could you make somebody else's load a little lighter? How could to make someone else's load a little lighter? So we're going to go through some exercises a little later on today, where you begin to discover what those things might be for yourself. Those of you who are not practicing mindfulness, or really not being aware of what they're grateful for, not doing journaling, not doing the introspection they need to have, may not be able to come up with the goods, may not be able to say with clarity and for sure, this is where I could render support to someone else, and I could do it so flawlessly. I've got such a well-oiled machinery. I have an expertise at it that someone else could use. Because the key of you being able to have that talent be expressed and used correctly to help support someone else is that you need to identify that it's there. And you need to have ways of identifying that it's there, right? Can you look at, that brings me to a thought. How many times have you looked at a person in your industry or in your organization that has promise? How many times did you look at a person and could see just glimpses of their promise, and that if they had the right stuff, or if they had the right support, that promise that they have could just light on fire and take it to the next level, right? I look at all promise, all talent, all gifts as actually a resource from the universe, a resource from the creator that has been delivered to each and every one of us. And each one of us has some level of gifting, some level of connection to another person, another thing. And whereas that gifting can be used to express your original purpose, the intent for you being here in the first place. And so the more we can work together in our strength zones, right, to find out what we're doing, to share what we're gifted at with each other, we find people who are not so gifted at that. And next thing you know, we've got some balance, we've got some harmony, we've got a way of triaging, so to speak, our gifts with their gifts and creating something greater. That's what teamwork is all about. That's a way of leverage. But I'm getting into a leverage conversation, which we'll talk about that some other time. But when you think about it, support, the reason why, I love this title. Some of you are my age and older, you might think, you may have, the first time you may have heard the word support might be when you were young and you heard support can be beautiful, right? And it was associated with, what is needed for ladies to feel like they're confident and they could move and they could be in life with their brasiers and so on and so forth. So support can be beautiful, right? It's important because before that, what they had these very, very difficult contraptions that looked bulky and didn't feel good or whatever like that until the Wonder Bra came along and let people know that support can be beautiful. So think about that. What is it that you offer the universe? What is it that you offer other people? What gifts do you bring to the table that you think that you can deploy for other people and other people could use them? Because therein might be your purpose. Therein might be your ability to make a major contribution. But that's not the only form of encouragement. The other form of encouragement is confidence. What is it that's needed to give someone else the ability, the wisdom, the thoughts that inspire them to feel good about what they can contribute to the team, to the effort? And how does one give someone else this feeling? How does one give someone else confidence? How do you do it? Right? One of the ways that leaders can give others confidence is not just by providing the training you need to develop your skills. Yes, that's there. That's important. That, you know, you must be able to help people develop their talents and abilities and their gifts. We talked about that earlier. So they can feel confident in the execution of whatever the trajectory of that is. So let's think about that for a second. What has happened in your life? What has happened in your past to give you confidence, to let you know that you know what you know, and that you're good at what you know, what you can do, you can execute well, and that it will be respected and delivered with the kindness, the clarity, the love, in whatever ways you need it to have happen, right? What has given you the confidence that you need to move forward in the past? When you think back of all the things, that obstacles that you faced or challenges that you've looked through or worked through, what gave you that confidence? Who? Was it a person? Was it attached to a person? Was it attached to some information you were able to gather from a book? By the way, that's attached to a person, right? Where did this confidence come from? Where did this belief in yourself come from? Where were you able to, shore up your commitment to do something greater, something brighter, something more established than maybe you had done in previous times? How did you get to be that big bad person that you are right now? What is it that gave you that confidence? Who gave you that confidence? Think about that, because that's something that you're going to have to give to someone else. You're going to have to give people who work with you, or people who are engage with you in some way, confidence. If the confidence is just in you or confidence is in them, it still has the same basic requirements. Confidence is given and shared through one particular mechanism. I'd like to see if anybody can figure out what the mechanism is. What is the one particular mechanism that we all use, every single one of us always have, always will, to exchange, to develop, and to see confidence in one another? It's one word I'm looking for. Let's see if anybody out there can guess what it is. Let me see how. I know you guys are wonderful. I know you guys are talented. I know you guys are intelligent, and some of you even done reading ahead of time. So let's just see where you come from. What's the one word that we know that always inspires confidence? Suresh, kindness. That's not what I'm looking for. Kindness is good, but that's not the word I'm looking for. What else you got out there? Anybody else got any guesses? Feedback. Feedback is great too, but that's not the word I'm looking for. What is the one word that always, universally, across the table, always inspires confidence, no matter how you slice it? Once it's given, it can be received, it can be shared. What is the word? Love, not love. Not kindness. You got a guess here, Calvin? Let me see what you're coming up with, my great doctor brother. Any guesses? Anybody else got a guess? Sel, do you have a guess? All right, here's the word. Trust. It's trust. Trust is the universal, all known, everybody knows it, everybody understands it, that once you have it, once you have trust, you can extend it, you can share it, you can move it from one person to another person. Trust is beautiful in this way. Now, trust requires, there's two primary characteristics to trust, that if you do not display these primary characteristics in a wonderful way, you cannot use the trust that you need to use, that have to build confidence. Here it is. Trust Dr. Covey said this. In many of his books, including The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. His son, Stephen Covey, it's not Covey Jr. I call him Covey Jr., but it's Stephen M. R. Covey, in the book Speed of Trust, wrote that trust is the biggest, most valuable commodity that there is in terms of moving life, human beings, and everything forward, right? Speed of Trust is the name of the book. I highly encourage you to go out and read it. And he said that trust is based out of and built on two key competencies, or two key components of trust, right? There's character, and then there's competence. On one side, there's character. On the other side, there's competence, right? Dr. Covey would always say, I remember talking to him many times, he would always say, you know what, you would trust a brain surgeon to operate on your brain if he could demonstrate that he had both character and competence. And he would go on to say that doctor that was the egghead who didn't have good bedside manner, couldn't communicate effectively, did not necessarily know how to explain to you what the process was, what the procedures was, in a way that you can understand it, you might not trust that person's character. So therefore, you might not let them operate on your brain. Conversely, the doctor who did not have any plaques on the wall, no books on the shelf, no indication that they had competence. You hadn't heard anything from anybody else that validates that they are. In fact, you just came out of medical school 2 weeks ago, and somebody allowed them to be a surgeon. Are you going to let them operate on you? You're gonna sign off and let them operate on your brain. They have no, demonstrated level of competence outside of going to school and being a practicing resident of some type in the surgery ward, right? So you need both. In order for trust to be high, you need demonstrated levels of both character and competence. And this is an important component when you want to make somebody confident in anything. Because if you don't have trust, think about it like this. If I wanted to convince you that you were amazing at something, right? And you felt like, I'm okay, but I wanted you to convince you that I wanted to give you the confidence that you're actually amazing at it and you're world class and you're better than anyone else, but I could never demonstrate to you any significant amount of competence in your industry, in your field, or whatever, I'm going to have a much harder time at transferring the confidence to you, even if I have the confidence in you, because I can't demonstrate with any level of clarity, any level of validity, the information I need to demonstrate to you, I need to share with you, that I'm competent enough to even render or judge or make an accurate judgment of your ability. You're not going to trust me. You're not going to trust me because I haven't demonstrated. Or maybe I never listened to you, never watched what you do, and I just jump in and say, you know what, you're going to be great. This happened to me once. And some of you who know this story will understand what I'm talking about. I was at the 75th anniversary conclave of my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and the guest speaker of the day was Mr. Les Brown, the motivator, right? Here I was, a young 20-something-year-old college kid, and I was, going to the big national meeting for the first time. It happened to be right here in Washington, D.C., right in my backyard. And so it was easy. I was home for a break or something like that, summer break, I think. And so I was able to slide through there and become the chapter delegate and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, I was going to this national meeting, and there was fraternity brothers from every age, from all over the places, and they were there. And I was so excited to be a part of this. This is the first time I had a chance to be a part of this. And I didn't know who I was going to meet. I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no expectations whatsoever. I just knew it was going to be amazing, and I had to be there. And so one of the plenary sessions was we were sitting down having lunch, and Les Brown was giving a motivational speech. I was so excited. I was so fired up. I was so amazed at what Mr. Brown had to say. I still remember to this day how he introduced himself. It's like, my name is Les Brown. I'm Mamie Brown's baby boy, kind of thing. And he still does that to this day. But it amazed me after I went to him and I spoke with him just for a few moments and just shared with him, how much I appreciated that he was there and he was talking to us and he was sharing some wisdom with us. And I really appreciated what he had to say. And he said, so young man, I can tell right now, you're going to be a motivational speaker one day. Of course, this blew me away, because although I had all the confidence in the fact that he's a great motivational speaker, he didn't know me enough to pronounce and speak into me that possibility. And so it literally threw me, and it literally took me into mistrust. Instead of trusting and believing, I was into mistrust, because I was going to school to be an architect. I didn't want to be a motivational speaker. I hated presenting and speaking in front of people. I didn't like it, and I didn't see myself ever doing it. And I didn't even have the understanding that it was a valuable thing until I saw Les speak. It was just a few minutes before that moment. And I'm like, okay, this hasn't even sunk into me yet. And all of a sudden you're pronouncing to me that I'm going to be a motivational speaker. I had no confidence in that. So it did not do what it was intended to do. In fact, what it did was the opposite thing. It made me run away from him and run away from everything associated with what motivational speaking was all about, because I thought it was taking me off track. It would take me away from my planned trajectory and just as to be one of the world-class best architects that ever lived. And there's no way I'm gonna do that and be a motivational speaker at the same time. I was too young to understand that his expertise was so great that he could look at my young talent and my young potential in a quick moment and see the trajectory of my possibilities and see the insight. You see, that's the gift of the wisdom associated when you have built up a level of credibility, when you have built up a level of competence, and you have the kind of character already. You can speak into the possibility of someone else what you know to be true, right? That's called insight. I know other people might call it a bit of discernment, because your expertise allows you to quickly put the pieces together, allows you to quickly understand what's going on, what could happen, and what's possible, and boom, there you go. You have it, you understand it, you know it. And it would have been horrible for Les, and this is hindsight for me, it would have been horrible for Les to know this information and not share it with me. But because he did, it was always sort of a bug in the back of my mind going, Les said I was going to do this one day. I'll never be doing that. That's so good. But from that moment on, every time I had a chance to see a trainer or a speaker or anybody deliver any type of address or presentation, I was always evaluating it. I was always asking myself the question, well, how would I do it better? I was always trying to figure out how to grow and move into that space in a way that was comfortable and credible for me. It took about 16 years, 18 years for me to finally find coaching and for me to finally find what I love to do. Had I not been so hard-headed, maybe more open-minded, these are things I want you to think about, right? Had I not been so hard-headed or open-minded, I might have been able to receive that expertise. So here's the question. How do you know when you see an expert? And how do you begin to let down your guard so that you can trust an expert? Because an expert has the talent and the gifting to speak the truth into the universe. They have the best skills at being able to identify other people within their sphere, within their influence, that could probably take over and do this thing at a bigger level, a better level than they could. That is a competency that an expert has, but you only recognize that competency if you're open to hearing it, open to understanding it. Luckily, Les knew about my talent, and even if he might have thought that I wasn't open to receive it, I guess he kind of figured I would be one day. Let's hang out there for a second. The kind of encouragement that you need to be able to give to somebody else, that you need to be able to use, does not have to happen at the moment that you think it has to happen. It just has to happen, and it just probably will happen. So when you think about how you're giving somebody confidence, it is the intent that you have to give it to them that is the most valuable thing. It's not their ability to receive it that's most valuable. It is your intent to commit to beginning and continuing to deliver that kind of confidence to people that you meet. When you see people, when you recognize, when you understand that somebody is gifted in some way, shape, or form, and you appreciate it, and you can tell, it is, in my view, your responsibility to speak up and show up for them in their way, in the moment, right then and there. There's an urgent thing that's going on right then and there. And I will tell you that your gifting, your talent, your abilities are literally at that moment put on the highest level of display. If you're a young tennis phenom, right, and you're 14 years old, and Venus or Serena Williams comes to you and says, "Oh my God, I wish that I had the kind of talent that you had when I was your age. You are going to be amazing." Right? You might be playing tennis at that point in time because your parents told you to. Right? You could be playing, you could be doing it because, you know, everybody said you should and everybody thought it was good and you happen to be okay on the tennis team. But now all of a sudden you're getting a whiff because you understand greatness just spoke something into your life that if you allowed it to do what it's supposed to do, could give you the confidence that you needed to overcome obstacles, to deal with challenges, to be more resilient, to grow, to strengthen, to just believe in yourself a little bit more. And by the way, confidence is transferable from one thing to another thing. So if you have the confidence in one area, it's easy for you to see the building blocks of how you can develop in another area. And that's why people who have lots of confidence in certain areas seem to be so good at so many different things. They become good at the underlying foundational principles that allow their confidence to live in one area, and they use that same principles that are universal, by the way, to transfer into other areas. In fact, in my research on encouraging leaders, I found another type of leader that's called a transformational leader. And I thought, well, they got to be synonymous. And I looked into it, and lo and behold, there were lots of similarities. But the fundamental difference becomes on who studies and who talks about it. What kind of research is being done on the other side? Because when you approach things about, you know, how to deliver and receive encouragement, it's different than when you approach a little different, because who wants transformation? People want transformation who are sick and tired of what's going on. People who want to encourage people aren't necessarily upset about what's going on as much as they just like, you know what, it's my responsibility, it's my gifting, it's my talent and ability to give you the confidence and support, the hope that you need to have. And so I want to give it to you because I am here to give it to you. I was placed here to give it to you. It's not my responsibility from a title perspective. So I don't have to be your mentor, your friend, your associate, your boss. I don't have to have even a current relationship with you. It's helpful, but it doesn't have to be in order for me to encourage you. In fact, you can reach for encouragement from anywhere on almost anything. All you need is people that you can trust, who have a level of character and competence, expertise, trust, right? that you can now be, that confidence, that support, whatever it is, can be transferred. In terms of support, when you think about that, I don't have to know anything about what you do to support you. All I need to know is how much money you need, and do I have it? And am I willing to share it with you? Do I have some excess, something that I'm willing to break off a little something for you, right? So think about that. Financing doesn't necessarily require a whole lot of previous relationship or information. It's helpful, not a requirement for support. All they have to really do in order to render support to you, all someone has is to believe that you have the ability to pay back whatever it is they gave you, or if it's an investment, you have ability to manage and create whatever it is that you said you're going to manage and create. So think about that. All levels of support doesn't necessarily require so deeply emotionally connected, involved in whatever it is you got going on. Okay, number 3, hope. This one is my favorite, because when you think about what hope is, hope involves some things that I think affect people on a deeply spiritual level. Hope involves faith. Hope involves belief. Hope doesn't have to be proven. There's no demonstration of actual hope. Like, can you touch it? Can you feel it? No. It's a transfer of so you can give somebody hope by letting them know that you believe in them. You can give somebody hope by letting them know that you have faith in their possibility. You can receive hope when somebody does the same thing for you. But again, that situation is much better inside of a pre-existing relationship. Like, I'll give you an example. We're talking about the fraternity, and it's just a couple hundred years, 106 years, I think our anniversary is. Oh my God, I'd be in trouble. Calvin, don't let anybody know I don't know the exact year. But we just celebrated 160 year of our existence, right? And there are men who are older and wiser than me. I got a couple gray hairs, but there are men who are older and wiser than me, even in my field of expertise, that are a part of my fraternity. I am likely to trust them and allow them to encourage me a lot more than someone who's not a part of the group, who's not a part of the organization, right? So think about that. When you are being encouraged, does it matter who is encouraging you? If it does, then you need to look within that zone of encouragement for people who specifically can encourage you. People who specifically can transfer support, hope, or confidence to you, right? Maya Angelou had this wonderful presentation of quotes that she used to share with her on all of her speeches and all of her presentations. She would say, before I go into any new challenge or any new direction or any new meeting or any new place where I have to get people to believe in me, have to get people to buy into me, have to get people to accept what I have to say and use it, I call upon everybody and everything who's ever poured any amount of love and commitment and desire into me, right? I call upon their spirits. I call upon, my friends who may have passed away. I call upon my ancestors, right? I call upon my friends and associates, the people that have written books that I have read. I call upon, and she talked about, having to memorizing as a child, Edgar Allan Poe and some of the great poets who made her a great poet, right? So she says, I call upon all these people, everything I've read, everything I've done, all these people that have carried me so far, and I bring them into the room with me. I bring their essence, I bring their spirit into the room with me. And that encourages me and strengthens me and emboldens me, and it makes me come out on the other side in my performance with the kind of confidence I need to have, with the kind of support I believe I need, and the hope that my goals and the things that I'm trying to achieve can happen. So I say to all of you all, when you think about how you're going to encourage someone else, how special it is, if it's in your writing, if it's in your content delivery, if it's in your communication strategy, whatever it is, you should purposefully seek to pour into the lives of others based on the gifting that you have, based on the skills that you have, and also based on the respect that you share and show for what they have to deliver and bring to the table. The better you become at that, the more you're going to be blessed with others who are going to find a way to fit with you. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I believe that all of us are like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, a brilliant, illustrious jigsaw puzzle. And each of us is supposed to be seeking our neighbors, our friends, where we have that perfect fit. And together, we put together the puzzle. And the puzzle is everything great that humanity can have, everything great that humanity is. And if you see every person as a piece of the puzzle, they might not be your neighbor, they may not be your connection, they may not be, but they all fit within the puzzle. Our job with each other is to help each other, it's to encourage each other, it's to support each other, it's to find ways to help each other find our fit. May not fit with me, but you might fit with somebody else or somewhere else. So let me help you figure out where you fit, and you help me figure out where I fit. And guess what? Together, we're going to put that puzzle together faster. And then we can all sit back and enjoy what the universe has probably been trying to tell us about our capabilities and our abilities since the beginning, right? But it's our job in this time we have to seek and continuously seek the next better fit, the fit that we're looking for with each other. And that is how we collaborate, that is how we encourage, and that is how we grow together as people. I think that's an important concept. And that's something I'm probably going to write about and talk about at some future date. But I want to share a couple of exercises with you all that's going to help you with your encouraging leadership. And by the way, if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, or you have any comments or anything you want to add to the chat, go ahead and do that either on Facebook or on YouTube. And for those of you who are on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. I need you to do that. I need you to help me get the numbers up. I need you to help share this wisdom. And if you're on Facebook, you can share this with other people who are watching it. The people know you're watching Coach Powell Live. I would really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you're here. It means a lot to me even more that you're willing to make sure I'm not kept a secret. And what we're doing here is not kept a secret. Because I have a mission for this year, and that's to empower thousands and thousands of SWAM business leaders, small, women-owned, minority-owned businesses and entrepreneurs who need help, support. They need encouragement. I want to be a part of that for them. I want to help them figure out where to get their encouragement, where they fit into their puzzle, right? They're find their fit, find their tribe. And I want to, for some of them who are closer or more in line with who I am and what I want to do, I want to find them, I want to identify them, and I want to work with them. I want to collaborate with them. I want to create new, magnificent things that I can't even dream about right now. But I need your help. And this is how you help me. Well, let's talk about some of the exercises that I've created that can help you become a more encouraging leader. And I can't see the chat while I'm looking at these exercises, so I apologize if I don't respond. If you're saying something to me and I don't respond to immediately, I apologize. But let's talk about this. These are the 10 rules of encouragement. Call them Coach Powell's 10 rules, but they're universal, so I really can't claim a whole bunch to them. I just happen to dig them out of a lot of the wisdom writings and a lot of the neurological research and a lot of the things I've read on encouraging leaders. The 10 rules of the encouraging leader. Number 1, they make a proactive choice, always. Number 2, they push through discomfort and they help others push through discomfort. Number 3, they reframe obstacles as challenges. Number 4, they understand that life is difficult. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people. There's always going to be things that make things difficult. But pushing against that difficulty is what makes you stronger, right? And so they're going to encourage you to do that. They're solid. They're assured of what they are assured about. People who are encouraging leaders are not wavering. I mean, they're not shaky people in terms of their values, what they believe, and what they think they can do, what they think you could do. They're absolutely assured, and they can prove it, right? So they have the ability to say, you know what? Here's why I know this to be true. They'll never just say, "Oh, just trust me," unless they don't have a lot of time to explain, right? They might do that. Think about the Les Brown situation. I'm sure Les could have told me right then and there if I asked him, "What do you see in me that makes you think I'm going to someday be a great motivational speaker?" And he could have broke it down for me right then and there. I know he could have. In fact, I know because in subsequent meetings that I've had with him and talked to him and shared with him, and I shared with him exactly what I just shared with you guys, he said, "Well, let me tell you why." And he told me, "You got a great character, you got a great smile, you have a great sense of humor, you got a great way of connecting with people, and I promise you, people are going to fall in love with that." And I was like, "Okay, great. All right, that's fine. That's what you say, Les." So think about that. They are sure of what they're talking about. If you're an encouraging leader. Number 6, they understand that encouragement is a team sport, means it spreads from person to person to person to person to person. And the more people that you encourage, the more the universe of your connections kind of grow. But if you're sitting around, you're sitting by yourself, you're not talking and you're not engaging with anybody else. I don't care if you're an introvert or an extrovert, because I'm an introvert, right? It doesn't matter. If you're not encouraging others, if you're not helping others, if you're not helping others find their fit, like we said earlier, then you're wasting time. You're wasting time, effort, and energy, right? You were here to do something. Get to work. Let's get on it. This is the work of humanity, is to work with each other, to collaborate with each other, find ways to help each other, support each other, drive each other, right? Very, very important. So it's a team sport, and it spreads. There's a multiplier effect involved with it. Number 7, encouraging leaders will always share their ideas and thoughts in a meaningful, powerful way. They understand how they can understand and articulate because they have a couple things in their back pocket, right? 1, they're emotionally intelligent, right? They have loads of empathy, and empathy is just a part of emotional intelligence, but they have loads of empathy, and they know how to put themselves in other people's shoes and see the world through other people's eyes. And then they can then use that information to not be reactive to situations, but to be responsive proactively to what's going on around them. And therefore they influence what's going on around them much better. They understand how to share ideas and thoughts in a meaningful, powerful way, right? Number 8, they recognize and respect the law of reciprocity. An encouraging leader knows that it is their responsibility to encourage anybody and everybody that they possibly can, and they look for ways to do it. They look for ways to give. They look for ways to input. They look for ways to literally put in to the universe, to people around them, every possible chance that they possibly can get, and they take it. It doesn't matter about levels. It doesn't matter about responsibilities. It doesn't matter about assignments. It just matters that they have the ability to encourage somebody, and they do it. And they get better and better and better and better and better and better at it. And what tends to happen is when you become good at encouraging other people, you also become good at seeing it and receiving it for yourself. That's the law of reciprocity at work, and they understand that. You have to put in before you take out. You can take out. You just have to know that you don't want to create a deficit. You don't want to create what we call an emotional deficit with people. You don't want to be a taker. You want to be a giver. That's the kind of person who can get their bank account filled up all the time, because people, by just the nature of the rule, will always find a way to encourage them in return and find the ways to support them in return. You are better at it when you can talk about what you need, but that's a whole different conversation. Like number 9, encouraging leaders understand that gratitude is the only significant attitude. First and foremost, they're thankful for everything. They're thankful for their ability to think about whatever they're thinking about. They're thankful for their ability to do whatever they're whatever it is they're doing. They're thankful for the receiving of whatever they receive from whatever it is they do. Good or bad, doesn't matter. Because the attitude of gratitude creates an energy inside of it that helps everyone to see the gift and the encouragement that is around them everywhere. You have to be good at gratitude and good at expressing what you're grateful for, so that people understand they have value and meaning based on your expression of gratitude. They understand what's valuable and meaningful to you because you communicate what you're grateful for. And the last, number 10, rule of a great encouraging leader, right, is they believe and understand that we're all in partnership with the universe. We're all in partnership with the universe. Each one of us is special. Each one of us has a contribution to make. And the magnitude of that contribution is a matter of timing. It's not a matter of doesn't matter. It matters. It matters, or the intensity of it. It's just a matter of timing. So we all have something to give. We're all something special. We all should be treated by each other as a special gift from the universe. And it's our job to partner with you, to help you figure out how do we collaborate together, or how do we find places for you to collaborate with others that are a right fit and a good fit for you. That's what I mean by partnership with the universe. These are the 10 rules of collaboration. I'm going to repeat them because I have some things I want to share with you all in terms of skill drills and skill development, right? So I'm going to go through them one more time. Number 1, making the proactive choice to be responsible and responsive instead of reactive, right? That's what I'm looking for. Number 2, push through discomfort, learning how to see the challenge and look on the other side of that challenge to find the opportunity, right? So push past discomfort. Number 3, refrain the obstacle. Make sure that you don't see it as just an obstacle, but a challenge, something to overcome, something to go through, something to go around, something to look under. And number 4, life happens. Haters are human too. There's all kinds of haters out there, and they're going to be there, and they're just representations of another types of obstacles, right? So you have to figure out how to negotiate them. You can't ignore them. You have to figure out how to negotiate them. They're very, very important because they're there for a reason. Be assured that you can be strong, that you can be talented, that you're committed, that you got to be solid in whatever it is that you're trying to encourage other people to be and do and have. If you're not, then you're dealing with a false deck, right? You're dealing with some false encouragement. You don't want that. Number 6, it's a team sport. Number 7, share your ideas and thoughts. Number 8, the law of reciprocity exists and is important. And number 9, the gratitude for make sure you have the attitude of gratitude is the only attitude, right? And number 10, partner with the universe. If you think about all these things and you think about all these rules, and you ask yourself the questions, and some of the questions I'm going to ask you a little later on, you'll realize that being an encouraging leader, being an encouraging team member, being an encouraging follower, being an encouraging person is a golden gift that we all have the ability to do. All we have to do is practice, rehearse, start working out that muscle and getting it done, right? So it's there. I'm going to put in the chat a bunch of skills or a bunch of some exercises that you can do. And I'm going to go through some of my favorites so that you can see how to move forward and become some things you can do to become a more encouraging person and to do greater things. And pardon me for some of the spellos and typos. There shouldn't be any in here. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's what's in the chat. So you can cut, copy, paste it, do whatever you want to do with it from either YouTube or Facebook. And you should be able to grab that information that is there on both live broadcasts. And I'm going to go through and put some links to a lot of stuff later on in this. But I'm going to take a moment to deal with any questions. And again, is there any questions that anybody has on Either finding the encouragement that you need or giving the encouragement that you need to give to others. Any questions at all, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll promise you I'll get around to them. Let me see. There's no. Yeah, trust was shocking to you, Calvin. I see that. All right. Yeah. Okay. And let's see here. Let's go through some of these skills. All right. While we're loading up any questions. One of my favorite skills in here is making sure that you are doing this encouraging thing on purpose, right? So schedule some time on a regular basis to study and practice the techniques and strategies that you've seen from other leaders who you would consider an encouraging leader. Really research, look at some of the great books. This is one of my favorites. This was a book by Walter Isaacson. It's called The Innovators. Walter Isaacson is just one of those prolific writers who've been writing and studying about American economics and society and great leadership for a long time. I think he is as a principal in the Leadership Institute or something like that. And he's just an amazing prolific writer. And his information is incredible. He writes about the greats. And so I always look at his stuff when I start to think through, leaders that I think have had something significant, something brilliant to say. And there's plenty of authors out there who've written about, lots of stuff. So, but I like Isaacson. I think he's just one of the voices of our time, right? But think about it. What do you need to do to study? What do you need to do to practice? How can you, and how can you practice supporting other people? How can you practice giving other people confidence? In what areas could you give them confidence? How can you practice giving hope to other people and sharing your beliefs, and not only just yourself or what you believe in, but your belief in them? How do you do that? How do people going to receive it the best? What is the best way to use it, the best way to say it, especially within your inner circle or people in which you have the greatest amount of influence, right? Or have influence on you. You have to ask those questions, and we have to really think through how I'm going to do this and make it a part of your daily walk, your daily mantra, which you'll talk about a little later. Okay, number 3, try to put yourself in a situation where you are the most encouraging leader that you can be. And everything that you do, everything you say, and everything that you believe, and everything you manifest, all comes from the heart of wanting to be a more encouraging leader. And then what I want you to do, number 3, is I want you to write down some vision for that. What are you going to be able to be, do, and have as a result of achieving that end, whatever that end is, right? Why do you want to do it? What's the purpose? What's the mission? What are you trying to bring to the world that's going to be different than maybe exists right now? Or what are you trying to further in the world that's going to make it even greater, right? What goals, what specific hard goals do you have? And use the SMART approach. For those of you who understand that, what that is, that's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely, right? Use the SMART approach to create your goals. And then put some performance standards down, a way of being on a regular basis, daily, weekly, monthly. What are you going to be doing on a regular, consistent basis? What habits are you going to engender in order for you to have a level of continuity between your vision, your mission, your goals, and your task orientation? How you pull it all together so that one justifies and rationalizes the other in a well-written, well-articulated plan, right? This is something I challenge all of you all to do if you're thinking about becoming a more encouraging leader. Some tools that I've created, and you can ask me about, and I can get them to you if you want them, is the RAP approach and the True Voice program. The RAP approach is a way of saying and demonstrating to someone else what you respect about them, what kind of affection you have for them, and what kind of praise that you're offering them, right? So if we learn to use that language, I respect you, I love you, I praise you for who you are and what you bring to the table, and here's what it is that you've done for me. The more we get used to using that kind of language with each other, the more we will be better at encouraging people. And so I codified it, right? So I wrote it down, and there's a process, the trademark process that I created, right? That helps you, helps you speak that kind of encouragement into existence from somebody using the rap approach. I did that because I think I was doing some training on developing incentives for employees and students and anybody else that you had to motivate, but you didn't necessarily have a carrot and stick approach on it. You didn't have any money to dangle in front of them or any promotions to dangle in front of them. You just needed them to be intrinsically motivated, right? So how do you do that? The rap approach is a part of that. Respect, affection, and praise. Then the True Voice interview was created sort of backwards too, because I realized that in order to truly speak to someone in a way that you understand their love language, you understand what they're all about, you understand who they are, you've got to be inquisitive enough to ask the right kinds of questions that help them sort of burst themselves and open up and become allow you to see in them the greatness that is in them that maybe they don't even see. And so True Voice is a series of questions. I think it's 14 or 16 questions that I put together that outline the acronym VOICE, which is about vision, obstacles you have to face, in interactions that you may have with others, commitments that you may make, and environmental pressures or things that you may have to be prepared for, right? So if you understand how to literally sit down and interview someone to come up with their voice, and they will know that you've heard them. They will know that they've spoken into you, whatever they need to speak into you to validate what they're saying and who they are, then they'll trust you faster. So it really ramps up the speed that you can get to a high level of trust with somebody like right away by using the True Voice interview process. It's an amazing tool. And so I have that available for you guys. So if anybody wants to learn how to use that, I'll teach you how to do it. Okay. Let me see another interesting exercise. This one's my favorite, my absolute favorite, number 9. Number 9 is a mantra, and I guess I'm going to share it with you individually because I realized that it might not have come out in the earlier post. And so I'm going to share that with you guys just by itself. Boom, there it is. Boom. All right, so this is like a 5-part mantra that I want to encourage you all to write down and memorize, and then use it every day before you do your planning. Use it every week before you do your weekly planning. Every month before you do your monthly planning, look at it and think about it and ask yourself, how can I bring these ideas forward? Before you go into a big meeting, read them out loud to yourself. Make them a part of your uniform, your process of how you move everything forward, right? I promise you it's going to make you a better person, make you a better leader, help you grow. Number 1, I walk the talk, modeling the best in thought and behavior for myself and my team. I walk the talk. I don't just talk the talk, I walk the talk, right? Leaders, encouraging leaders, step up, step out, show up in a big way, and they're not shy about it because they know what they're all about. They understand who they are. Oh, I didn't post it again. I'm sorry. Thank you, Nancy. There they are. There it is. All right. So it's critically important that, number 1, you have to use it and repeat it. Number 2, I constantly create new strategies to inspire and motivate myself and others. I constantly create new strategies to motivate myself and others. Get this right, and don't be shy about it. If you do this, people will accept and understand that you are an encouraging leader, and they will begin to seek encouragement from you and receive it much better, right? Number 3, hey Rose, I see you. Thank you. I apologize. I'm sorry that you're late. But it's great to see you out there, Rose. I really appreciate you coming through. Definitely share us with your friends. And by the way, for those of you all who didn't catch all of this or catching just a part of this, it's recorded. And so you'll always be able to go back and watch this episode and all of my previous episodes, which is like I have a stockpile of episodes, which is really, really cool. I love doing that on Facebook and on YouTube. So I got my own YouTube channel, right? And I got my own Facebook channel. And pretty soon I'm going to get LinkedIn as soon as they approve it. But that's a whole nother thing. Number 3, we're talking about mantras and things that you can use to sort of boost your level of encouragement up and make sure you're thinking about it the correct way. Number 3, I always value and consider the needs and feelings of others as well as my own. I always value and consider the needs and feelings of others as well as my own. Right? This is the level of emotional intelligence. You got to have it. You're not going to be an encouraging leader if you don't. Number 4, I always challenge myself and others to be innovative and creative. I always challenge myself and others to be innovative and creative. Right? If you do this proactively, you don't have to wait till the shoe drops. You don't have to wait until, some problem occurs. If you get out there out front with people especially people that are in your inner circle, and you begin to do that quite a bit, to share, what things would you change in your industry if you could? What things would you grow into if your industry, and what can you contribute that maybe you're not contributing right now? Why not? How do you make it happen? How do you create? How do you innovate better? Ask people the questions. Have them, see that you're seeing them, you're watching them, you're paying attention to them. It makes a difference, because people perform when people watch it. That's really what it is. Number 5 and last, the last mantra of an encouraging leader: I have the kinds of positive expectations of myself and others that stimulates higher levels of performance. I have the kinds of positive expectations of myself and others that stimulate high level of performance. If you use those 5 mantras anywhere, everywhere you go, commit them to memory, I promise you the experience that you will have when dealing with other people will be so much greater than it is right now. All you got to do is get in the habit of saying the words and practicing and walking in the truth of what encouragement is. And I'll repeat, encouragement is giving someone else support, confidence, and hope. I hope this training has been encouraging to you. It is my love, my passion, my effort to pour into as many people as I possibly can everything that we need to know to grow, to be better, to help each other, to support one another. Service is my touchstone. It's how I know I'm doing a great job. So if there's anything, because I haven't planned the editorial calendar out now for the rest of the quarter, if there's anything that you need to know more about, or anything you'd like to serve or understand, give me a shout. Put it in the text message, to put it in the chat box or anything, and I'll pick it up and review it and see if I can add something to maybe something I've done before, or create a new program specifically because you asked me to. I'd love to do it. I love to. Anything that you need to know, any skill you need to develop, anything you can figure out how that you might use to grow, let me know. Because I'm trying to put together again my editorial calendar on for the next year, and I want to make sure that I'm talking about and doing things that are literally connected to the people who pay attention to me. I don't want to do stuff just for the sake of doing stuff. That doesn't make any sense to me. I want to do stuff that makes sense and things that people are going to find use in. So a lot of you all have just joined. Some of you have just joined, or you're just piping up. Some of you have been here for a while. I see my girl Rose Bono. Rose is literally just literally the most talented professional I know in the world of hypnosis. She's a go-giver, man. She's growing, and she's I'm looking forward to great things from Rose. I know that she's going to be one of these people that we're going to be all of us are going to be talking about at some point in the future. If you get a chance to hang out with her, talk to her, chat with her, definitely go ahead and do that. I see my boy Scott's out there. Scott is just a wonderful construction engineer. He can cost estimate anything as simple as a home or a huge building or a bridge or anything. If you know some people out there who need some help with that, or you might not know some people who need some help with it, but trust me, everybody who does any kind of construction needs help with that. Scott's one of the preeminent experts on the planet at that, and he's basically created the software that other people use to do that better. I mean, he knows BIM. That's the word he taught me, by the way, inside, outside, and upside down, right? So it's one of those things that you can depend on. So I work with tons of people, tons of experts, and tons of talented people all over the place. And I'm always looking for it. If you have a talent or an expertise that you want to share with the group, please put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put your contact information in the chat. You never know who might pick up and see you and participate with you. You know, if you need, you know, a great suit, you need to be outfitted correctly so that, you know, you're wearing stuff that fits you, that looks good on you. There's nobody better than Suresh Kimlani. There's nobody who is going to take the time to make those perfect measurements for you, to make sure that what you have fits and it looks the way it's supposed to look on you. And it matters a lot. Right now, more than anything else, you know, most of us are doing things through Zoom and all that kind of stuff, and we may relax our dress code a little bit better, but I'm going to challenge you that, you know, you still need to look good. Anytime you work with people, anytime you're experiencing people, you need to look good. And if you don't, then, you know, the assumption is that, you know, you don't have the confidence that you need to have. You don't have the joie de vivre, the savoir-faire, you know, to be recommended by someone else, right? So you need to make sure that, you know, you're representing yourself to the best of your possible abilities. And I promise you that Suresh is one of those people who can help you to get there. Who else is in the chat? I know there's a Cell Ren in here, and I don't know you as well as I'd like to know you, Cell. So if you're paying attention, if you're out there, definitely go ahead and put some stuff in the chat about who you are, what you're doing. If you have a product or a service that you'd like to represent, go ahead and do that. So I apologize for not giving you a shout out. One last and most important shout out I got to give to people in the audience today. My girl Nancy Wyatt. Nancy is just a superior intellectual on so many different levels. I mean, she's one of those jack of all trades. She can do anything, everything, which is scary because I realize as I grow older, you know, I might get there. You know, I don't know. I try to stay in my lane and try to stay focused, but I'm excited about so many different things, so it's hard to do. And I can see how that my trajectory might be something similar to what Nancy's is. But she's just chock full of wisdom and expertise, and especially in the world of just wellness and learning how to feel better about who you are and what you do and what you contribute to the universe. She can give you great advice, and she's the kind of person that, you know, you can trust. She also puts together, if you have to write something down or if you have to create something, she's just a wonderful extra set of eyes to help you, you know, fine tune your messages and your images and your branding and just sort of get that thing together too. So, you know, she's a Michelangelo, you know, she can do it all. She can do it all. And so I highly suggest if you have a chance to chat and speak to, or, you know, just get some wisdom from Nancy, go ahead and do that, because she's a super genius. She says she got a pain reduction system she's about to launch for remote healing sessions. Really cool. And obviously you can get to Nancy. She showed you, that's an email address, it looks like. Okay, that's way cool. And again, anybody have any contact information, any emails, any marketing information you want to put in, go ahead and put it in the chat. I love to give you that opportunity. I love to give you the opportunity to market yourself, your business, because again, in most different places, you know, we don't have that opportunity. You know, everybody says, oh, don't try to sell anything. Don't try to talk. I'm telling you, if you're great at something, other people need to know about it, and you need to be, nobody's going to share it as much as you can. So let's get it out here. Tell us what you do, what you bring to the table. Oh, my girl, Rachel came through. It's so good to see you, Ray. Oh, Rachel is one of my best friends from way back, and even in high school. I think she's such a special person. She's an MBA. She's got, you know, expertise in all forms of nonprofit accounting, and she knows how to, you know, run that budget, right, and all those financial reports and stuff like that. So she's a genius in that area. If you're looking for some help or some understanding of how to extend yourself into the world, she'd be a great person to talk to as well. So shout out to Rachel. It's so good to see you out there, Ray. Miss Rachel, right? My wife and Rachel. No, I'm not sharing that. That ain't nobody's business but ours. So I'm gonna keep that to myself. But if y'all want to know what my wife and Rachel do every day, let me know. They do some things every day. Anyway, guys, I had a great time. This was one of the best sessions ever. This is the last in a series of sessions on principles. If you want to watch the other principle-driven leadership sessions, just go back. This is number 4 of 3. I did an intro to principles, and then I did the first principle, which is communication. Then we did collaboration, and now we're finishing up with encouragement. All these principles are key to any kind of planning you want to do for 2021. If you understand how to use them and how to put skill drills, and I put extra documents in the chats and stuff like that, so you should be able to get to everything you need to get to get that hardcore stuff and really learn how to do it. If you need help, of course, you can reach out to me. My phone number is 703-201-4267. You can text me. You can phone me. I might not pick up because I got a lot of calls coming in, but I will listen to the message. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I had a great time. Thank you for attending Coffee Tea, you and me. If there's any other questions, I'll hang out for a few minutes. Anything else you want to say? I appreciate you, Suresh. It is great to be with you as well, my friend. Alrighty, guys. I had a great time, and hopefully, Nancy said I was freezing. If anybody else is having a problem with me freezing, let me know. It might be just her internet connection. It might be my internet connection, but it's going to show up in the recording, which I am going to watch. So we'll see if that is out there. Other than that, you all have a great day. God bless you. I hope that you're going to have the most empowering 2021 that you possibly can have at any time. Anything I could do to help get in front of things and help it be better for you, I'd love to. Call me up. Let's make it happen. Talk to you soon.